Hey yo, what's going on? Bisbee Nation, Stos here. Going over what I did today, November 3rd, 2016. Really choppy, boring day to start. And then we finally got some action to the downside, a little break, probably about doubled this range. Al talks about that a lot. Quick measured move down here. And of course, I'm in here looking to pick bottom. So the question is, which bottom am I going to pick? Well, this one's a little bit too close to VWAP and really not the greatest setup. I guess an outside inside bar, but this is more like a doji, not really a nice body on there closing on its high or anything like that. So I did avoid that entry, and this is pretty aggressive. These bars aren't the greatest bear bars, so if this was a nice bull bar and it was a little bit lower, probably not a bad idea to go ahead and be aggressive and take that entry. But then we get a few more aggressive bars, and 3 out of these 4 bars closing near their lows. This turns out to be like a big leg, probably a little bit more down after that. But I did have a stop entry to buy above this bar. I actually did not get filled because this only went 1 cent above that green bar. It needs to go 2 cents in order for me to be filled on my stop entry. So I'm not filled there, and a little bit more flush happens. And that's why I kind of like buying on stops above bars, just because it can help keep you out of trouble at times, right? Because if it doesn't trigger, well, then you get a better entry further down. And I also tried to get this one, buy on top of a stop above that green bar, but that also did not trigger, a little bit more flush. And then finally, a pretty nice little outside inside setup, and I just bought with the stop above this bar. Now, it's not like the outside inside setup is the holy grail, or bars closing on their highs are the holy grail, or anything like that. I'm simply just looking for reasons to take a trade. That's all it is. And a price action setup just happens to be one of the reasons. And that's one of the visual reasons. Just like VWAP is another visual reason, and I need it to be in a certain location, and I want to take the trade up to the VWAP or up to the D band or whatever it is. These are all just visual reasons to take a trade that I also match with my theoretical reasons, which is all my market theory and why I'm in here picking bottoms and waiting for this and all of the other nuances that go into the strategy. So I just want to stress the point that it's not like this is some holy grail setup. This is just one little piece to the puzzle of a very basic, but I guess specific trading strategy. Okay, anyways, I took the long here at 12.51, buying the price of 209.17. And pretty good entry bar here. You can see bulls were definitely kind of eager to buy. One of the bigger bull bars in the bunch here since this really big bear leg. Then we went into that 2 hours of sideways action, and this one didn't even really test VWAP. Usually it tests VWAP and then goes into some 2 hour sideways action, but this one just kept getting rejected at the D band. I guess it kind of showed how strong the bears really were, and this is actually a pretty big gap that was protected. You can see as soon as we broke this price here, right down here, price never really got back to test that price, so this whole gap area stayed open. So I would say that that is a very strong sign for the bears, and this was a nice little sell setup here under this bar after failing to break out. Same thing here, we're trying to break out, nice little sell setup, and these just ended up working. And for once, we see kind of a sell-off into the close. Usually you see that end of day rally. This was a sell-off into the close, and I actually held on all the way until 357. I pretty much closed out my position at the end of this bar, and I lost 37 cents. So my initial risk was $1. I ended up losing 37 cents. I simply just ran out of time. And that's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes, right? You just run out of time, and that's probably the worst part about intraday trading, is sometimes you simply run out of time and I'm not holding positions overnight. So I have to exit, right? Anyways, nonetheless, a 37-cent loss is nothing. It's about the size of my average win. As long as I'm not losing that dollar, I am a happy camper, right? So I guess the only thing to really stress about this chart here is this nice gap that stayed open. Another reason to know that the bears were strong. And what I actually started adopting later on, because remember, I am doing these trade videos in November after the fact. This is kind of March right now. This is not kind of March. This is March, the beginning of March right now, March 2nd, 2017. But this chart is from November 3rd, 2016. I just have all these screenshots. And what I adopted is after 3 o'clock, so here's the 3 o'clock hour, I start to get very cautious with my trades. So maybe something I could have done was exited below this little setup here, but regardless, that's about the same price that I got out at here, right? So it's not really a difference. But it's just kind of cool to go back and look at these trades and see why I really adopted the rules that I have now. And what I am noticing is these aggressive bear legs, I'm usually kind of early. I wanted to buy in a stop above here, but after such a tight bear channel, tight bear leg, bars closing on their lows like that, maybe I should wait this first reversal out and look for a second entry a little bit lower, because that's what happened today. Actually, I just got aggressive and I took the first entry, and it wasn't anything bad. I lost 5 cents today simply because I ran out of time again, but today the entry also set up lower, very similar to this, and it would have been as if I got triggered on this long here, I would have lost even more money. Well, that's kind of what happened today. If I had not taking this first entry and I took that second entry, I would have actually came out with a small profit at the end of the day. Nonetheless, 5-cent loss, I could care less, right? But it's just these little tiny things that I think separate an intermediate trader like myself from a seasoned veteran, like someone who's been doing it for 10 years as opposed to, 4 or 5 years. I think it's these little things, and I definitely don't claim to be a seasoned veteran. I'm just getting over that hump, and I know I can help beginning traders reach that intermediate stage that they're looking to reach. Because once you reach this intermediate stage here, that's when the learning curve really accelerates, and this is when it's the most fun because all your hard work is starting to pay off. And at this point, for me, it's just about taking it slow, keep proving the concept. I don't need a tenfold my size right away or anything like that. Everything's going well. I'm not trading the mortgage money. I'm just going to stay patient, increase my size gradually, and become the trader I know I can be. So I hope this inspires you guys, and I hope you guys got a little bit something out of this. I know a few of these last trade videos have actually been losers, which is kind of odd because my strategy is to create winners. But I promise after this, it's nothing but wins for a little while. So that's just the way the cookie crumbles. Sometimes you get 2 out of 4 losers right away, right off the jump, 3 out of 6 losers, something like that. But then you win your next 7 or 10 trades, or at least I do. That's just kind of the way I've set up my strategy. The statistics, the probabilities will always play out, especially if the market conditions haven't really changed, and they haven't. We're still in this incredibly strong bull market, and everyone thinks it's going to crash. It doesn't keep crashing. It just keeps setting historic highs. So everything's kind of still the same, and I just keep going back to the well. That doesn't mean I won't have any losing days. Sometimes there's no water in the well, but those days are few and far between. So, hey guys, hope you guys got something out of that, and until the next video, Stoves out.